Hi, good evening once again. I'm your host, Andrew Caravella, for Desert Empire Vibe, coming to you every single week here from the Southern California area, bringing a spotlight to athletes, actors, musicians, actors, and pretty much anybody of stature, I guess.
Actors.
Actors.
You said actors and musicians.
And musicians and athletes. I have from the Charlie Roberts Band.
Yeah, there you go. That's close enough.
Chuck Roberts.
Yeah. Yeah. That's me.
You're a musician.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I am. I'm a troubadour.
Okay, all right. Would you say your genre is like blues country? Because that's the kind of vibe I get.
That's cool of you to say. I mean, I don't know. I grew up listening to, you know, the LA sound, like the Eagles and James Taylor and Jackson Browne, so I guess that's got to come through. When the band appears and they say, what do you play? I go, we play original classic rock, because I write all the songs. So,
what do you like writing about?
You know, it just depends on what catches. I mean, I have a song I love about a guy who finds his wife and best friend making love, and he kills them and then takes his train and drives it off a trestle. It's called Trainwreck Suicide. I like that one. And then I have another song about how nice it is to be around someone. And how happy they are all the time to be around people. So
how long have you been doing music now?
Oh, seriously, professionally since about 2004, 2006. Okay. But I started playing in high school. You know, I thought it would get me chicks. But, you know, you had to be an electric guitar player and then good looking. See, and then you got the women. And I did neither one of those things in high school, so.
Have you always stuck with like the same kind of style this whole time, or have you fluctuated off and on over the years?
I like to think I would change my style, but it's like, you know, it's probably terrible to say, there's an old Bill Cosby bit where he was in wood shop and whatever he made turned into an ashtray. So, you know, I try to write, you know, like a jazz song and it ends up sounding country when I'm done with it, you know. Okay,
all right. What do you say you write, so like what do you like to, what's your favorite aspect of the whole writing process from beginning to end?
The whole process. I mean, it is amazingly fun to do. I mean, I'm just a fan. I'm more than a fan of music. I love music, and so I'm always listening to music. I got about 15,000 songs on my iPod right now, and I just let that shuffle for a year.
We play this game. We're not going to play it right now because it's way too early in the program, called Random Questions. And one of the questions I always ask my artist that when we do this is, last thing that they heard on the iPod. So I'm going to ask you, what's the last thing that you listened to on your iPod?
Jerry Mulligan.
I don't know who that is.
He's a famous saxophone player from the 50s.
Okay.
You know, tremendous saxophone player that played with Miles Davis, and then before that it might have been the Archies and Sugar Sugar. So it's all over the place for me.
Chuck, what do you think? This is a good question for you, because I always ask the younger kids this, and you know they think they know, but they don't. What do you think the difference between music in your generation and people that listen to music versus my generation is now? What do you think the disconnect is? Because there really is a disconnect nowadays. And I don't know if technology necessarily is the culprit, but what would you say, I guess, is what I'm trying to ask is the disconnect with my generation now with music versus what it was like when you were growing up?
Well, I think that's obvious. It's accessibility. When I was a kid, you know, we were like gangs. I mean, you were like a Beatles guy or a Who guy or a Zeppelin guy or a Stones guy. You couldn't say I'm up for all these people. And you went to the record store. You know, the way you got music was completely different. I rode my bicycle. I think I was in 7th or 8th grade, to Deno's Records at the Orange County Plaza, and bought, much to my chagrin now as a guy who goes out and plays music, Van Morrison's Brown Eyed Girl. And that was the first 45 I ever owned that I purchased. There was other music I had that I hadn't purchased. I went out and got the Monkees' second album from Zodi's. So those were events. Now you guys are getting everything on download, and some of the music's really good. It's just, you know, it's torn up the business model is what it's done.
So you actually think that the music is kind of decent then? Now,
what's out there? Yeah? I mean, there's all kinds of people. You know, you have yeah, well, I guess it's old school. I would, I really like some Eminem stuff. That guy can write. I like Casey Musgraves. I don't know if you've heard of her.
I know who she is. Yeah.
Yeah, she's tremendous. I just got turned on, and I wish I could. The place to watch and go find great people is over at Pappy and Harriet's over there in Pioneer Town. There's always people playing there that are right on the edge and up and coming, and you can go see them in a place where there's 40 or 50 people. You don't have to go to Staples. So that's what I'm trying to do anyway.
You like more of those intimate settings than for live entertainment?
Well, I've done that. I've been to those big shows. I went to, it wasn't called California Jam, but it was 90,000 people at Ontario Motor Speedway, and Leon Russell played there. I forget I don't know why I forget everything in the past. But there was 90,000 people there. So I've done that, and there's just a lot of good music that's out there that we can find, if we look around.
All right, very good. Do you just play guitar? Because you guys don't know this yet. He plays guitar. I mean, do you play other instruments as well?
Well, I play whatever I have to record for a demo, but I barely hang on to guitar. I think that success in music is surrounding yourself with really good musicians. The rule, and we have a band called Charlie B. Roberts and the Love Switch, and the rule of the band is that I have to be the crappiest guy in the band, and then the band sounds pretty good.
Is that how that works?
Yeah. It does.
So, you brought your guitar tonight.
Yeah, and you're keeping it over there by yourself. What is up with that? It's like...
Well, I was going to see if you were going to remember to bring it, home with you, because if not,
pretty?
Yeah, anything that stays here, I usually eBay the next
nice.
day.
Yeah, well, you'll get a little bit of money for this guitar.
Tell us a little bit about this guitar. Is there anything special about it, or is it just the one that you grabbed?
It was an anniversary present, and this guitar has made me a lot of money.
This one?
Yeah, this guitar, if you figure we've been on for 10 years on a little show called Dogtails, and we got about, if we say 500,000 viewers a week, so 52 weeks, 5,000. Yeah, about 40 million people have heard this guitar play.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool?
That's huge.
I know.
We're actually going to talk about Dogtails in our next segment after our commercial break. But before we go to commercial break, Chuck's been so kind to share his talent with us tonight. You asked me, do you want something ballady or poppy? Of course, I'm going to say poppy. So what are you going to perform for us here before we go to a commercial?
Well, it's not going to be pop, but it'll be fast.
It'll be fast. Upbeat, I guess. And what song is it?
This is called Barstow Queen.
Barstow Queen. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. An original, correct?
Yeah. This song, a friend of mine had an idea for a song called Barstool Queen. And he played the beginning of it, and I said, "Is that Barstool Queen?" And he goes, "Did you say Barstow?" And I hated that Barstool Queen idea. And I went, "Yeah, that's Barstow Queen." Right. And then I played it for a friend of mine who did a show about LGBT women called Wild Things on Showtime, and they put it on the jukebox while the girls were doing shots, and it was one of my third or fourth songs I sold. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here exclusively on The Vibe, I guess premiering here on The Vibe, here is Chuck Roberts from the Charlie B. Roberts Band.
Yeah, Charlie B. Roberts and the Love Switch.
And the Love Switch playing Barstow Queen. Take it away.
After 5 easy pieces, there's 4 on the floor. 3 says she won't find a man to love her anymore. I think she just wants to even up the score. Hey, Barstow Queen, let me take a guess. Well, this ain't the first time you've been in this dress. Hey, Barstow Queen, I've been knocked down too. Yeah, what you say, you buy a drink for me, and I'll buy one for you. There's 5 simple reasons to leave this broke downtown. All the trains roll up the hill, girl, well, and then they roll right back down. Looks to me like you're about to drown. So throw a 5 in the jukebox, leave $1 at the bar. The only safe way out of here, girl, is the shotgun seat of my car. all the cowboys in this bar, girl, hell, now I want to dance with you. So what's your answer? I think I'll need it soon. Hey, Barstow Queen, let me take a guess. Well, this ain't the first time you've been in this dress. Hey, Barstow Queen, I've been knocked down too. Yeah, what you say if I drink for me? And I'll buy one for you. Hey, Barstow Queen. Hey, Barstow Queen.
All right. Thank you. We'll be right back with more here with Charlie B. Roberts, aka Chuck, when we come back here on Desert Empire Vibe. Welcome back from our quick commercial break. Sometimes we have to pay the bills here. I'm Victorville for Desert Empire Vibe. In the hot seat right now, Chuck Roberts from the
Ow.
from the Charlie
B. Roberts.
Charlie
and
B.
the
Roberts
Love
and the
Switch.
Love Switch. What's Love Switch?
I don't know. We had a lot of different names. You know, we called the band the Beat Awfuls. The boys didn't like that. You know, there was Illegal Smile. So the Love Switch, the guys in the band seemed to like being part of the Love Switch. So we. You know.
So you mentioned before you performed for us a little show called Dog Tales.
Mm-hmm.
When I first talked to him, I thought he said DuckTales, which was my generation. I got super excited. I was like, "Oh, it's one of the writers from DuckTales. He probably did DuckTales, you know?"
Yeah, my kids watch DuckTales. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's DogTales. Like, oh, was that the spinoff? No.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about DogTales.
Well, it's not. You know, DogTales is as you know, you're in the business. You know, it's a not an entertainment. It's a educational show.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
fulfills that need. You know, for family entertainment that you're required to have so many minutes of. So it's a great niche show, and a lot of stations need it. But it's, you know, DogTales is obscure, and I think we were running for about 6 years, and I got a phone call from a guy who said, "Hey, man, I see on the TV." Well, I'm not on it, but he heard me singing. And,
right.
But it took 6 years to have one friend find it, so it's not easy to find.
That's okay.
But DogTales is a wonderful little show. It's like a dog magazine show, and people do little segments about them and their dogs, or trainers do segments, and people send in pictures of their dogs, and the songs that I play have performed there. They run those pictures, so it's kind of nice.
How does that work? Because musicians or recording artists that are trying to, like, you know, get their music out there, that only think that they have YouTube and maybe getting it on iTunes by, you know, going through like TuneCore, like a third party. How's the process work to get a song that you do onto TV?
I think probably the best thing you can do is go down to like Walmart or Lowe's or somewhere and get a metal detector. And then what you do is you go down to the beach, right? And then you just like run that thing over the beach for as long as you can handle it. And of course, keep all the coins you find, but then, you know, hopefully you find a lamp. And then you get that lamp and you pull it out of the sand, you rub it. When the genie comes out, you wish your stuff will be on TV.
Is that how you do it?
I think that's how it's done.
Gary, I've been doing it wrong the whole time.
It's hard. It's a very hard business, and it's you know, this brick wall that you have behind us. I mean, that's the metaphor of it. It's just a brick wall, and you have to love what you do. And I was lucky enough to know somebody, you know, who has been in the business forever.
See, and it's funny you say that, because a lot of people say it's all about who you know, but most importantly, who knows you.
Let's put it this way. This is a very close friend of mine who, and the circumstances just changed where songs paid more than composed music. So they said, we're going out and looking for songs. And that was 10 years after this person knew me as a songwriter, before they called and said, "Hey, would you like to contribute?" And I did, And they also asked people with pedigrees, guys who had written big jingles. A couple of guys were music supervisors all through the 80s, working with big artists, and they were all very talented people themselves. One guy worked for Kenny Rogers for 30 years. And so I submitted my songs, and then they started submitting theirs. So mine kind of went click, 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 but luckily we hung on to the bottom of the list. And
now, the songs that were picked, were they songs that you specifically created for Dogtails, or were they already things in your catalog?
No, they were written for Dogtails. I mean, I was sitting there with the composer, and he said, "You know what would be a good song?" And I said, "What?" And he said, "Dogs Never Get the Blues." And I go, "Great, I'm going to get that one to you next week." You know, I figured if it was his idea, there was a chance it would make it in the show.
Very good, very good. How do you, let's go back to songwriting. I want to get to the technical side of it now. How do you start writing songs? Everyone has their own process. For me as a pop singer, I personally like going through a producer's catalog, finding a track that I like, and then looping it, build my bridge, build my chorus / hook, build my pre-verse, build my verse. Some people do it different. They'll write all the lyrics first and then put music to do it. What is your process?
Sometimes I just kind of write the song. I just hear it in my head and play it over and over. I don't write music, so I have to record it right away. And then hopefully when I play it back or play it again, I try to listen to a lot of different music that it sounds like to make sure it's not the same song. But my process is just inspiration mostly, although, I've been commissioned to write some things. So it's not, I'm not getting up and working 40 hours a week writing songs. It's more of an avocation. So right now the inspiration can be something you just say, something very obscure that sounds like a good hook to a song, and I'll go, I'll write that down and try to bring that into the realm of becoming a song.
As an artist, getting away from show business for a second, as an artist that tries to write music, what do you think the biggest difficulty is that one comes across?
You mean just trying to write music or trying to get it heard, or I'm not sure. What do you mean?
Yeah, it's a tough question, huh? I'm not even sure.
Yeah, I got that. I think writing's getting off the blank page and trying to make something happen off the blank page. One of the other things I try to do is if I hear an artist I like, I try to write like the artist, and see if I can write a tune that's that good. And that could be anybody from Taylor Swift to an old timer like Lyle Lovett. So
with your style, what makes you different than other people that try to do the same kind of singer-songwriter kind of vibe as you? What makes it specifically Charlie B. Roberts and the Love Switch sound?
I'm really good. There's a lot of people, because everybody can own a recording device and record everything that they do. There's a lot of people that are, I hate to say it, but are subpar out there, and it's not the world it was 40 years ago where you had to have a recording studio. Now you could just, heck, I got a recording tool on my iPhone. And so I think that there's just a lot of people out there that are learning how to do it, and some are on their way and some will never figure it out. But I think the difference between me is I know what it takes to write a song, and I know what it takes to deliver it. It sounds like total hubris, but if you ask a baseball player, how do you get a hit? He goes, I know how to get a hit.
Most embarrassing moment for you on stage? Do you have one? That many?
I don't know. I mean, hopefully, I'm trying to think of times that maybe my fly was down or something. I've never blacked out on stage.
That's good.
I've never vomited on stage. Yeah, I don't know. You have them all the time. I mean, I don't know if they're most embarrassing, but see, you play. So you go out and you play and you make a whole bunch of mistakes, and nobody knows but you. I remember doing a show where I forgot the song I was playing, and I just didn't know what the next verse was, so I just kept strumming the guitar, and then finally it came to me and I finished the song, and had a friend walk up and say, "That's the best set I ever saw."
We're going to have you perform one more song for us, but before we do, how do we find you online? Where do we find Charlie B. Roberts?
CharlieBRoberts.com. And you can look up on Facebook Charlie B. Roberts and the Love Switch, or or look for Chuck Roberts on Facebook, any of those ways to find me. Songsofdogtales.com, and that'll lead you to CD Baby, where you can buy all the songs by all the guys on Dogtales. That's actually my only record I have out, and they just did a study that you can play music for your dog, and when you play the Songs of Dogtales for your dog, we make money. So we really want to do that.
All right. Well, hey, I'm going to give you your guitar. Thank you for being with us today. We're going to have you play one more for us. You guys can now stream Desert Empire Vibe on Roku via the Livestream app, keyword KVVB. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us tonight on Desert Empire Vibe. Taking us out tonight all the way through the credits. Once again, Chuck from the Charlie B. Roberts Band and the Love Switch. Catch them online. All of their social media will be coming up here during the performance. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, Charlie B. Roberts.
When it's cold, you like to spoon. When it's 5 o'clock, you'll be home soon. You come in and you need a kiss. How do things get better than this? So better. How's it ever get better? I'd have to add me a letter to the alphabet to make it better than this. You lift the lid, you smell the soup. You say, good, now I gotta go take a shower. I grab the towel and I dry my hands. I can't believe you say I'm your man, oh better. How's it ever get better? I'd have to add me a letter to the alphabet to make it better than this. Some folks sit around and they chat about the weather. Well, I don't have much to say 'cause it just don't get better, oh better. How does it ever get better? I'd have to add me a letter to the alphabet to make it better than this. It's quiet now and the TV's off. The kids are giggling up in the loft. Finally slide between the sheets and I can hear you fast asleep, oh better. How does it ever get better? I'd have to add me a letter to the alphabet to make it better than this.